Ladies and gentlemen, this gathering tonight is not by accident, but by the will of Almighty God. This is not just another meeting, it is a chosen moment. Around the world, people are searching for peace, for truth, for hope. And tonight, I tell you that true hope and lasting peace are found only in drawing closer to God. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, His message is for you. Your thoughts are the foundation upon which your entire life is built. Every decision, every habit, and every result you experience is born in the secret place of your mind. Before a person achieves greatness, they first imagine it. Before someone gives up, they first accept defeat inside their head. The truth is simple. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life, and the destiny you move toward is nothing more than a reflection of what you have been thinking all along. To win the battle in your mind is to win the war over your future. Think about it. Every great invention, every powerful movement, every act of courage started as a spark inside someone's mind. The Wright brothers first saw themselves flying before they ever built a plane. Champions visualize victory long before they step into the arena, and people who transform their lives begin by transforming the way they think about themselves. Your thoughts are like seeds, and whatever you plant will eventually grow. Plant negativity, and you will reap discouragement. Plant doubt, and you will harvest hesitation. Plant hope, determination, and vision, and you will see opportunities and strength blossom in your life. Most people underestimate how powerful their inner world really is. They believe life is controlled by circumstances, by luck, by what others do or say, but the greatest victories are not external, they are internal. If you can master your mind, you can master your life. If you let your thoughts drift unchecked, you will be pulled in every direction, controlled by fear, anxiety, and distraction. But when you take control of your thinking, when you train your mind to focus on discipline, courage, and growth, nothing can hold you back. Every failure begins in the mind before it happens in the world. Think of the student who convinces himself he isn't smart enough. He stops trying long before the exam. Think of the athlete who believes the opponent is too strong. He already lost before stepping onto the field, but the reverse is also true. When someone believes they can rise, when they refuse to let doubt dominate their thinking, they open doors to possibilities that others can't even see. Your mindset becomes a compass, pointing you toward the life you are creating, whether you realize it or not. The danger is that the human mind naturally leans toward negativity. Fear is always easier than faith. Doubt shouts louder than courage. That's why so many people live below their potential, because they have surrendered the battlefield of the mind without even fighting. They replay past mistakes over and over until shame becomes their identity. They let other people's opinions echo in their thoughts until they no longer trust themselves. But life changes the moment you declare, "I will not let my mind be a prison. I will not allow toxic thoughts." Write my story. Winning the battle in your mind is not about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It is about choosing what voice you will listen to. Every day, two voices speak, one of fear, the other of faith. One says, "You're not good enough." The other whispers, "You have everything it takes." One says, "This is the end." The other says, "This is only the beginning." Whichever voice you believe will shape the actions you take, and the actions you take will shape your destiny. Training your mind requires discipline. Just as the body grows stronger through exercise, the mind grows sharper through intentional focus. You cannot expect strength if you constantly allow negative thoughts to run wild. You must challenge them. When doubt tells you that you will fail, answer with persistence. "Even if I stumble, I will rise again." When fear warns you to quit, respond with courage. "This is where I become stronger." It is not about never hearing negativity. It is about refusing to give it authority over your life. The most successful people are not those who never felt afraid, but those who learned to think differently about fear. They understood that fear is a signal, not a sentence. They recognized that doubt only has power if it is entertained. They trained their thoughts to focus on possibilities, to hold visions of the future so strong that temporary obstacles couldn't shake them. If you want to change your life, you must first change your thoughts. Guarding your mind is also about choosing what you allow inside. Just as a soldier would never leave the gates of a fortress unprotected, you must protect the entry points of your mind, the conversations you have, the media you consume, the people you spend time with. All of these plant seeds in your thoughts. If you constantly expose yourself to negativity, comparison, and gossip, your mind will be filled with weakness. But if you surround yourself with inspiration, knowledge, and encouragement, your thoughts will grow into strength. There will always be battles. You will face setbacks, disappointments, and seasons of doubt. But the key is to never surrender your inner ground. You may lose a job, but don't lose your belief in your ability to rise again. You may face heartbreak, but don't let it convince you that love or hope is over. The battle is not in the circumstance. It is in how you choose to interpret it. Will you see yourself as defeated, or will you see yourself as being refined for greater strength? Every day is a choice. You can choose to let your thoughts run wild, or you can choose to train them with discipline. You can choose to focus on limitations, or you can choose to focus on possibilities. The power is already in your hands because the battle is fought and won in the mind long before it is seen in life. Your future is not written by chance. It is written by thought. If you want to change your destiny, start by changing what you believe about yourself and what you allow to dominate your inner world. A disciplined mind leads to a powerful life. A defeated mind leads to wasted potential. The difference is choice, and the moment you decide to take back control, you've already begun to win. The voice inside your head is the most powerful force you will ever face. It is with you in every moment, shaping the way you see yourself, influencing the choices you make, and determining how much strength or weakness you carry into life's battles. You can escape other people's criticism, but you can never escape your own inner dialogue. That is why the greatest battles are not with enemies outside, but with the constant conversation happening in your own mind. If you do not take charge of it, it will take charge of you. Many people lose this inner war without even realizing it. They speak to themselves with harshness, calling themselves failures, replaying mistakes, and planting seeds of doubt in their own hearts. Words like "I'm not good enough," "I can't do this," or "I'll never succeed" become the silent soundtrack of their lives. Over time, these destructive statements shape their behavior. They hesitate when they should move forward. They quit when they should persevere. They shrink when they should rise, all because their own voice told them they couldn't. But here is the truth. Your inner dialogue can also be your greatest ally. The same mind that can tear you down has the power to lift you higher than you've ever imagined. You can train that voice to speak words of courage, hope, and resilience. You can transform it into the voice of a warrior, a coach, a motivator that reminds you who you really are and what you're capable of. The mind will always speak, but you decide what language it speaks in. Disciplining your inner dialogue begins with awareness. You must learn to recognize when your mind is feeding you poison. Catch those moments when negativity slips in. Listen closely to the words you say to yourself after failure, after rejection, or after a mistake. If your inner voice tells you that you are worthless, that is not truth. It is fear masquerading as fact. If it whispers that you are incapable, that is doubt trying to rob you of your power. By catching these lies, you begin to break their grip. The next step is replacement. You cannot simply stop negative thoughts. You must replace them with stronger ones. Just like a soldier does not leave the battlefield empty, you cannot leave your mind unguarded. When the thought says, "You will never make it," answer it with, "I may fall, but I will rise again." When your mind says, "This is impossible," respond with, "Everything is impossible until it's done." Speak back to your own thoughts with authority, and over time your mind will learn to follow the new script you give it. This is not about blind positivity or ignoring reality. It is about refusing to let lies dominate your inner world. There will always be challenges. There will always be setbacks, but your inner dialogue can decide whether those setbacks become a wall that stops you or a stepping stone that strengthens you. Two people can face the same failure, but the one whose mind says, "This is the end," will quit, while the one whose mind says, "This The lesson will rise stronger. The difference is not in the circumstance, it is in the dialogue. Discipline means consistency. You cannot expect a strong inner voice if you only train it when life is easy. It must be built in the dark, in the silence, in the small everyday battles that no one sees. Every time you choose to speak encouragement to yourself instead of criticism, you are sharpening your inner weapon. Every time you refuse to replay old regrets and instead focus on present possibilities, you are strengthening your resilience. Over time, these small victories build a mind that is unshakable. Consider the way professional athletes, leaders, or warriors operate. They do not walk into battle doubting themselves. They repeat affirmations. They visualize victory. They train their inner dialogue until it becomes second nature. When the pressure is highest, their inner voice says, "You are ready, you are strong, you will overcome." That is not an accident. It is the result of years of discipline. You may not be an athlete or a soldier, but your life is still a battlefield, and your mind needs the same training. Another key to disciplining your inner voice is surrounding yourself with the right environment. The words you hear from others often become the words you repeat to yourself. If you live in constant criticism, negativity, or defeat, your mind will echo it back to you. But if you feed your ears with encouragement, wisdom, and strength, your inner dialogue will reflect that. Discipline is not just an internal act. It is also about protecting what influences your thoughts from the outside. At the end of the day, the voice in your head will either be your greatest enemy or your most loyal ally. It can whisper defeat or declare victory. It can chain you to past mistakes or propel you into future opportunities. You cannot silence it completely, but you can train it. And once you do, once your inner dialogue speaks the language of courage, hope, and perseverance, nothing in the external world can truly stop you. Because even in the face of adversity, the strongest part of you will always remind you, keep going, you were made for more. Winning the battle of inner dialogue is not a one-time achievement. It is a lifelong discipline. But each day you practice it, you rewrite the story of your life. And the more you discipline your thoughts, the more you discover that the loudest and most powerful motivator you will ever need has been within you all along. What you feed your mind determines the kind of life you live. Just as your body becomes a reflection of what you eat and how you treat it, your mind becomes a reflection of what you allow inside it. If you fill your mind with doubt, drama, and endless distractions, it will weaken and drag your life in the same direction. But if you choose to feed your mind with knowledge, wisdom, faith, hope, and strength, your thinking will sharpen like a finely crafted weapon, and that weapon will help you cut through any obstacle standing in your way. The battle of life is not just about effort, it is about nourishment. What goes in will always come out. Every single day, countless streams of information flow toward you. Conversations, social media, news headlines, entertainment, all of these things enter your mind, whether you realize it or not. And here is the truth: nothing you consume is neutral. Everything leaves an imprint. Negative stories plant seeds of fear. Toxic conversations plant seeds of bitterness. Repeated distractions plant seeds of laziness. Over time, these seeds grow, and suddenly you find yourself feeling weaker, more anxious, and less focused without even understanding why. You didn't lose strength overnight. It was drained by the steady diet of mental junk food. On the other hand, when you consciously choose what you feed your mind, the results are extraordinary. Books filled with wisdom plant seeds of vision. Conversations with uplifting people plant seeds of courage. Messages of hope and empowerment plant seeds of resilience. With time and consistency, these seeds grow into a mindset that cannot be shaken by temporary storms. You begin to notice opportunities others overlook. You find strength to keep moving forward while others give up. You carry clarity where others carry confusion. That is the power of a well-fed mind. It is important to understand that your mind is always hungry. It constantly craves input, and if you don't choose what to feed it, the world will feed it for you, and the world rarely serves meals of hope, discipline, and growth. Instead, it serves quick distractions, fear-driven headlines, and shallow entertainment designed to keep you numb. That is why so many people feel restless and unfulfilled. They are starving for real nourishment but stuffing themselves with empty mental calories. To win the battle in your mind, you must stop consuming mindlessly and start feeding yourself intentionally. Guarding
It's
your
very
mental
common
diet
among
requires
highly
discipline
creative
because
people, both
temptations are
artists
everywhere.
and
It is easier
scientists,
to scroll
and I'd like to give it a
endlessly
name.
than to open a
Slow
book.
motion
It is easier to watch
multitasking.
hours of negativity than
Slow
to
motion
seek
multitasking
wisdom.
feels
It is
like a
easier to gossip
counterintuitive
about
idea.
problems
What
than
I'm
to build
describing here
solutions.
is having
But just
multiple
like with the
projects
body,
on the
what
go
is
at the
easy
same
now
time, and you
becomes
move
painful later,
backwards and
and what
forwards
is
between
challenging now
topics
brings
as the mood
strength
takes
later.
you, or
Every
as the
choice you
situation
make,
demands.
what you
But the
watch,
reason it
what
seems
you listen to,
counterintuitive
who you
is because
spend
we're
time
used to
with,
lapsing
becomes
into
either
multitasking
fuel
out
for
of
your
desperation.
growth or weight
We're in a
pulling
hurry,
you
we want to
down.
do everything at
Think of
once.
your mind as a garden.
If we were willing
Whatever
to
seeds
slow
you allow to be
multitasking
planted will
down,
eventually grow,
we might
whether
find
you want
that it
them
works
to or
quite
not.
brilliantly.
If you let weeds of negativity and doubt spread, they will choke out your potential. If you allow seeds of fear to sit long enough, they will grow into strong roots that hold you back from ever stepping forward. But if you carefully plant seeds of inspiration, knowledge, and determination, the garden of your mind will bloom with confidence and vision. Harvest of your life will always reveal what kind of gardener you were with your thoughts. To feed your mind the right way, you must make choices that strengthen you. Start by surrounding yourself with people who inspire you rather than drain you. Spend time with those who speak life into you, not those who constantly complain or criticize. Choose books, podcasts, and messages that challenge you to think bigger, not content that keeps you small. Protect your time from endless distractions and instead invest it in practices that sharpen your focus, like journaling, reflection, or deep learning. Every small choice becomes part of your mental diet, and over weeks and months it reshapes the way you think and live. Feeding your mind is not just about adding new information. It is also about filtering out poison. There are things you must stop consuming if you want clarity and strength. If every morning you start with negative headlines, don't be surprised when your day feels heavy. If every night you consume hours of empty entertainment, don't wonder why your dreams feel distant. If you constantly compare your life to others online, don't question why your confidence feels weak. Starve your mind of what weakens you, and you will create space for what strengthens you. You will notice that the people who rise the highest in life are not always the most talented, but they are often the most disciplined in what they feed their minds. They are deliberate about what they allow inside. They know that garbage in equals garbage out, so they guard their thoughts like treasure. And because of that, their decisions are sharper, their confidence is stronger, and their resilience is unbreakable. They don't avoid challenges, but they face them with a mind that has been nourished to endure. The truth is, you are feeding your mind something every single day. The only question is, are you feeding it strength or weakness? Are you giving it courage or fear? Are you nourishing it with hope or poisoning it with doubt? Every choice is a seed. Every seed becomes a thought, and every thought creates a life. The battle in your mind is not won in one moment. It is won in the daily discipline of choosing what you let in. If you want a future filled with purpose and strength, then begin today by feeding your mind with the nourishment it truly needs. Let wisdom be your food, hope be your drink, and courage be your daily bread. Over time, you will find that your thoughts grow sharper, your spirit grows stronger, and your life begins to reflect the greatness you were always capable of. Feed your mind well, and your life will rise to match it. Life will always test you. It will push you to the edge, break your plans, and sometimes even shatter your heart. You cannot escape pain, failure, or rejection, because they are part of the human journey. But here is the truth. Resilience is not born in moments of comfort. It is forged in the fire of struggle. Resilience is not about never falling. It is about never letting your mind surrender when you do fall. The battle of life is not won by those who never face defeat. It is won by those who rise every single time they are knocked down. And that rising always begins in the mind. Your inner strength is what carries you through seasons that would crush others. Think about the people you admire most, not because life was easy for them, but because they endured when life was brutal. They faced rejection, but they did not let it define them. They experienced pain, but they did not allow it to poison them. They stumbled, but they never stopped walking. That is resilience, and it comes from an unshakable decision in the mind that says, I will not be broken, I will not give up, I will not stay down. When life hits hard, the temptation to surrender is strong. Your thoughts whisper, this is too much, you can't do it, you're finished, and many people listen. They stop trying, they shrink into fear, they let circumstances dictate their worth. But resilience comes from a different response. It is the voice inside that says, yes, this hurts. Yes, this is difficult, but this is not the end. I am stronger than this moment, and I will rise beyond it. That inner conviction does not erase pain, but it gives you the power to endure it and keep moving forward. Resilience is built the same way a muscle is built through resistance. Without pressure, the muscle never grows. Without struggle, the mind never strengthens. Every failure, every rejection, every hardship is an opportunity to train your inner strength. You can either let challenges break you or let them build you. The difference is not in what happens to you, but in what you decide inside your mind. If you treat struggles as enemies, you will always feel weak. But if you treat them as teachers, you will grow stronger every time you face them. One of the greatest truths about resilience is that you only discover how strong you are when strength is your only option. There are battles you thought would destroy you, but here you are still standing, still breathing, still capable of moving forward. That alone proves that you carry more power than you realize. The fact that you survived what once felt unbearable is evidence that resilience is already within you. You just need to choose to call on it, to lean into it, and to let it carry you further than you thought possible. Resilience also means shifting your perspective. Many people see a setback as the end of the road, but the resilient mind sees it as a detour. It does not say, this is over. It says, this is redirecting me. It does not say, I'm finished. It says, I'm learning something new. That shift in perspective is what keeps you moving forward when others quit. Because life is not about avoiding storms. It is about learning how to walk through them without losing your direction. Another part of resilience is patience. Strength is not built overnight. Healing takes time. Progress can be slow. The resilient person understands that setbacks are temporary, but surrender makes them permanent. You may fall behind, you may get delayed, but if you keep going, you are still in the fight. Resilience does not demand perfection. It demands persistence. It says, I may not move fast, but I refuse to stop moving. And that refusal is what eventually leads to victory. Resilience also thrives on belief. You must believe that no matter what happens, your story is not over. The moment you let go of that belief, you allow defeat to take root in your mind. But when you choose to believe that your future still holds possibility, you ignite a power within yourself that no obstacle can completely extinguish. Belief is the fuel that resilience runs on. It is the anchor that holds you steady in the storm. Sometimes resilience means starting over. Sometimes it means accepting loss, learning from it, and building again from the ground up. That is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. Anyone can keep going when life is smooth, but only the resilient can begin again after being broken. Only the resilient can look at the ruins of yesterday and still believe in the promise of tomorrow. Your inner strength is a gift you must protect and develop. Life will not always be fair. People will not always be kind. Plans will not always succeed. But you have the choice to respond with resilience. You can let challenges define you, or you can let them refine you. You can surrender to the weight of life, or you can rise under it and discover just how powerful you really are. The battle is always in the mind first. If your mind says, I can't, your body will follow. But if your mind says, I will, even when your body feels weak, you will find a way to keep moving. Resilience is not about being unbreakable. It is about being unshakable. It is about refusing to give circumstances the final word. And once your mind makes that decision, nothing in this world can truly defeat you. So when life tests you, remember this: resilience is not given, it is chosen. And the moment you choose to rise again, you prove to yourself and to the world that not pain, not failure, not rejection, has the power to stop a heart and mind that refuse to surrender. What you choose to focus on will decide the direction of your life. Focus is like a magnifying glass. It takes the energy of the sun and intensifies it into a flame. In the same way, your thoughts take the energy of your mind and direct it toward either victory or defeat. If you constantly dwell on what's wrong, your problems will appear larger, your hopes will feel smaller, and your courage will shrink. But if you discipline your mind to focus on possibilities, on solutions, on the vision of victory, you will begin to see opportunities where others only see obstacles. The battle in life is not just about strength, it is about focus. So many people lose their way because their minds are scattered. They jump from one worry to another, from one fear to the next, and their energy is wasted on what might go wrong. Worry does not solve problems, it multiplies them. Fear does not protect you, it paralyzes you. The truth is, what you focus on expands. If you keep your attention on failure, your mind will find reasons to give up. But if you focus on victory, your mind will find ways to keep moving forward. It is not the size of the challenge that matters most. It is the size of your focus. Think of an athlete preparing for a championship. The crowd is loud, the pressure is heavy, but the athlete blocks it all out. Their eyes are fixed on the goal, their mind locked on the win. That focus becomes their strength. The same principle applies to life. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control where you place your attention. When you focus on what you can control instead of what you cannot, you regain power. When you focus on your potential instead of your limitations, you awaken strength. Focusing on victory does not mean ignoring reality. It does not mean pretending difficulties don't exist. It means choosing to see beyond them. It means looking at the same situation others see and finding a different perspective. Where someone else sees a dead end, you see a challenge to overcome. Where others see defeat, you see training for your next breakthrough. This mindset does not come naturally. It comes through discipline. Your mind must be trained like a lens to lock onto what matters most and refuse to be distracted by what doesn't. Distraction is the enemy of victory. Every day, countless things fight for your attention. Negative voices, endless comparisons, temptations to quit. If you allow your focus to scatter, your energy will drain and your progress will stall. But when you decide what deserves your attention and shut out everything else, you become unstoppable. Greatness is not about doing everything. It is about focusing on the right things and doing them with all your strength. Focusing on victory also requires vision. You must see the outcome before it happens. Success begins as an image in your mind long before it becomes a reality in your life. If you can picture yourself overcoming, if you can see the doors opening, if you can imagine the version of yourself who refuses to quit, then your mind will begin to shape your actions toward that picture. The clearer the vision, the stronger the focus, and the stronger the focus, the closer you move toward making it real. It's important to understand that focus is a choice. You cannot always choose what happens to you, but you can always choose what you dwell on. You can choose to replay failures, or you can choose to replay lessons. You can choose to think about the people who hurt you, or you can choose to think about the future waiting for you. You can choose to focus on fear, or you can choose to focus on courage. Every time you make that choice, you are either weakening yourself or empowering yourself. Life will always test your focus. When the storm is raging, will you stare at the waves, or will you fix your eyes on the horizon? When pain strikes, will you focus on the wound or on healing ahead? When failure comes, will you focus on the fall or on the rise? The resilient, victorious mind always chooses to see beyond the immediate. It does not deny the difficulty, but it refuses to let the difficulty define the outcome. Focusing on victory also requires gratitude. Gratitude shifts your perspective from what's missing to what's possible. It takes your attention off lack and puts it on strength. When you focus on what you already have, you build confidence for what is to come. Gratitude is not about ignoring challenges. It is about refusing to let challenges blind you to the blessings that are still present. And when your focus is anchored in gratitude, your mind becomes harder to shake because it is trained to see light even in darkness. The most successful and fulfilled people are not those who never face challenges. They are those who never let their focus drift toward defeat. They discipline their thoughts, guard their vision, and keep their eyes fixed on the bigger picture. When they fall, they see it as a step forward. When doors close, they look for the ones that will open. Their secret is not that life is easier. It is that their focus is stronger. So ask yourself, where is your focus today? Are you magnifying your problems, or are you magnifying your possibilities? Are you staring at the walls in front of you, or are you fixing your eyes on the victory beyond them? The answer will determine the path your life takes, because your focus is your future. Train your mind to focus on victory, and defeat will lose its power. Discipline your thoughts to see possibilities, and obstacles will shrink before your eyes. Refuse to waste energy on what weakens you, and direct all your strength toward what builds you. That is how you win the battle in your mind. Because when your focus is locked on victory, no storm, no failure, no setback can take it away from you.